Hi, this is Muriwa Adele. You're listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast.
Yes. Hello, welcome back. Loony listeners, you are listening to Into the Night at the Moon Knight podcast. This is episode 300 and you are with both
300.
Yeah.
we can't just gloss past that. So carry on.
Yes, but you are with both your high priests, Rebecca and Ray. Rebecca, 300.
I
My God.
know. We're saving the celebration.
Yes, yeah. So had grand plans, and for those that saw the post as well, just it takes a bit of time to organise. So I want to do it some justice. So we'll just put a pin on it at the moment, and we do have some like new comic book releases, so can't not do them as well.
Yeah, we
and
can't hold off for that. And
Exactly.
we're both here. We're celebrating.
Yay!
We'll have a little cake with a candle.
How you going, Rebecca? By the way.
Not bad. It's been a week. How about you?
Oh, yeah, it has been as well. Yeah, work's been pretty full on at the moment, but feeling productive and all that. It's just taking a lot of time.
Yeah.
But other than
I spent
that,
yesterday getting my eyes done, speaking to the doctor.
oh yeah, how's that? How did that go? Okay.
Fine. If everyone wants to know my weird eye thing, I have one long-sighted eye, one short-sighted eye, and they change prescription on a yearly basis. So it's quite normal
Oh
for me,
wow. Okay.
but it gets very expensive, and so I've been putting it
Nice.
off for as long as I could, but
Yeah.
the new
Oh,
glasses are on their way. So
has to be done, I guess.
see
Has
if
to
you
be done.
notice when the new glasses switch in.
I will. You might have to. I'm not a man of subtlety, so you might have to wear some Elton John glasses or something.
Somebody sent me to a website that literally just sells those frames, and I was like, I don't think I really want to wear any of these. They're very nice.
Yeah, no, they are a bit out there, aren't they? Russell, thank you so much. A happy 300. Thank you, Russell.
Russell. Let me log into Facebook so I can see who's talking to us.
Yes, and look at the two beauties. For those, again, we are live streaming, so we do have some live comments coming through. So if you're listening to this as a podcast, we are referring to stuff that pops up. Hopefully you can join us.
That's Chad. Hi, Chad.
Chad. Hey, Chad. I've got to remember about Chad for a little bit of a white noise thing. But yes, we are here, loony listeners, for the final instalment of Moon Knight Black, White and Blood issue 4. So this should be a good one as well. And this kind of rounds out, Rebecca, this mini-series, right? So
I know, it came quite quickly, really, in the end.
Yeah.
We had a lot of people giving us their Moon Knight takes, which is kind of cool.
It really caps off. I mean, I know we've still got the regular series, but it kind of caps off the flood of Moon Knight stuff that came along with the TV show around April. Is that right? April, end of April.
Yeah, I mean, and we're still getting the odd announcement. Like, didn't you just post those pop in a can things?
Oh, yeah, someone did. Sorry, Aluni did. Thank you. I don't have their name, but yes, the pop in a cans. My God, I've got to get them.
I don't know what they're even called. I didn't want to say on the website, but I think they're a little bit ugly. But all of them, not the Moon Knight one specifically. The Funko Soda, Alex Montalban. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Alex.
Is that in the previews?
So they're Funkos, are they?
There is a Funko model, but not the normal Funko. But I actually think the Moon Knight ones look nicer than almost all the others. But I just don't like them generally. And also today on Twitter, there is a rumor of a deluxe Mr. Knight.
What?
And
awesome. Hang on, I've got to check this
what
up.
What is meant by this deluxe Mr. Knight? So.
Do we know a company or no?
Funko.
Oh, Funko as well. Okay.
Yeah.
It'll be like a 12-foot Funko or something. Some huge jumbo, life size.
Well, I only saw it because somebody was saying, I hope it's the comics Mr. Knight and not TV show, Mr. Knight.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I do know, obviously there's differences, but I don't know. I mean, I think it was cool. I just want to know what deluxe Mr. Knight is gonna be, because we've had him in combat for the TV show. We've had the walking one.
Yes.
Somebody in the thread said it'd be really cool if we got him sitting on the chair. I mean, that would be awesome. Like the opening from all of Jed's comics.
That would be really cool.
I'm Mr. Knight. That would be great.
Yeah, that would.
It's not really something Funko does very often, so I can't. I imagine it'll just be Mr. Knight in a fancy suit. Who knows?
Yeah. What
I'm saying is we're still getting drops, but you're right. It's kind of tailing off a little bit.
Oh yeah, we had a tidal wave of Funkos, which all came out.
D23 next week, so maybe we'll hear.
Oh my gosh!
Where we'll see Moon Knight next. I almost said Iron Fist. Where we'll see Moon Knight next.
True. That would be good. There's like a rumor going. I mean, people are just making rumors and dropping rumors.
There's so many rumors going around. So we count them off. That he's going to be in Captain America: New World Order.
Mm-hmm. He and Layla.
And Layla. He's going to be in Blade. It was another rumor. I mean, I think that's been a long-term one.
Yeah.
What did I read today? Another one in passing, not from a loony, that there is a script for Moon Knight 2. Oh no, that's Moon Knight Core playing around.
That's Moon Knight Core, yeah.
But there was somebody else saying that at D23 we will hear Moon Knight Season 2.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, this is all very good to hear. When is D23? Next week. Oh my god. Okay, so loonies, keep look up the website
I have
or
a
whatever.
friend embedded who's going to message us.
Yes, we have a mole.
The minute anything happens, so.
Excellent. A Moony mole.
I mean, I'm sure it'll also be all over Twitter, but we will hear it from my friend.
That's great. Okay, so there's plenty. This is I've thrown up white noise on here for those that can see the video, and certainly is all these little tidbits coming through. I only had Rebecca on the prompt sheet. It was just a release of the preview. Yeah,
maybe I should have filled in the prompt sheet.
No, that's okay. That's great. I love hearing these news because this is a genuine reaction from me. Although I did see the pop pop Moon Knight stuff. But yeah, through Buzz Comics, you can see it on Twitter through our feed. There's a preview of Moon Knight and in our group, Moon Knight 15. If you want to have a look at it, Rebecca, have you had a little geeze? I haven't.
I didn't. I only I try not to most of the time.
Yeah,
but I obviously know the panel of the haircut, so.
Yes.
Yes. Which it just makes me laugh because again, it's something we've been giving him, like, we've been hassling about Mark's messy hair. Apparently, Stephen agrees with us.
So. Haircuts and boxer shorts, Rebecca. It's
very important to me and Stephen Grant.
So there. I mean, you haven't got long to wait anyway, loonies. No. It's out next week, so Rebecca and I will be back to chat about that. But we obviously have some work to do tonight anyway. Also, as well, I wanted to shout out last bit of white noise, just because the power of Chad dropped in a note there. Chad is doing a Kickstarter alongside a friend, Braden. It's called Outwash Onslaught, a slasher horror. It's on Kickstarter. I'll put it in the show notes as well. They have smashed their goal, I believe, Rebecca. So they're doing, people that know Kickstarter, you get these incentives or these bonus gifts if they reach certain goals. So they're doing that as well. A big congratulations to Chad and to Braden as well.
It's amazing. What an achievement.
It looks great. So I've signed up as well, and you can too, loonies. So the link will be on the show notes just for anyone who wants to check it out. Highly recommend it. If you like horror, if you like... I'm just going to go out on a limb, Rebecca, and say if you like Moon Knight, you'll like this.
I mean, I hope so. I've signed up for it, but I don't like horror very much, so
yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not
I will
a fan,
still
but
read it and
exactly. Me too.
Pay attention.
Yeah, for Chad as well, and
it's not as if I don't read horror. I mean, clearly, if I've read like you said, if I've read the Moon Knight comics, there's an element of horror there, so it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot to say, I'm just going to go back quickly for our sponsors. Thank you to all the patroonies as well, to Odin Odensword, Drew Toombs, Daniel Doing, Frank the Think Tank, CLZ Comics, and Dreamland Comics as well, just for a little plug there for our sponsors. But yeah, that was pretty much, I guess, Rebecca, our white noise.
Yeah,
would you say? Unless there's anything else that you may have up your sleeve.
Everything. I can pull out anything.
No. All right. Well, let's get straight into our Moonshine. Yes, our Moonshine is a new comic book or new whatever segment, so it doesn't follow the phase of the moon. And this time around, as you heard at the top of the show, Moon Knight Black, White and Blood issue 4 released 31st of August 2022 of this year, and we've got 3 stories. Rebecca, do you want to grab the first one, just the credits?
Yeah, so writer Christopher Cantwell, penciler Alex Linz, inker Alex Linz, colorist Alex Linz, letterer Cory Petit, editor Martin Biro, Annalise Bissa, and Tom Brevoort.
Yeah, and second story, The Scent of Blood, writer Nadia Shammas, penciler Dante Bastianoni. He also does the inks, colors Chris Sotomayor, and similar letterers and editors as well, Cory Petit, Martin, Annalise, and Tom.
And then the final one, Born to Be, writer, penciler, inker, and colorist Paul Azaceta.
Yeah,
and then the same letterer and editors.
Paul taking on the load there at the end.
A whole lot, yeah.
And this is available on floppy, of course, and on digital, if you so choose. Now, listeners as well, for those who may not know or haven't heard us recently do this, basically Rebecca and I will go through a synopsis, a bare bones. With these anthologies, we just give a couple of sentences for each, because they're very short stories. There's no need to kind of prolong it. Then we'll go through some aspects, and just any discussions on writing, art, themes, characterizations, or references. So Rebecca, would I be able to lean on you for the bare bones? Thank you.
Let's do it. Synopsis. So the first story. Mark must battle his daily internal struggles in a sophisticated game of tic-tac-toe. After battling inner demons, he is left with the toughest opponent to overcome, himself. The second story. Whilst breaking up a sinister cult, Moon Knight soon discovers that Shesmu has plans to make Mark its own avatar. Moon Knight foils Shesmu by showing he is a being of self-destruction and ultimately deters the deity. And for the third, Moon Knight is called upon and stalked by Bastet, who plans to dispose of Mark and Khonshu. The Avatar of Vengeance is not so easily defeated, and he shows his purpose to the would-be usurper.
Yeah, so again, as always with these anthologies, nice, quick, short, sharp stories. You've got, what, your 8 to 10 pages or something like that, Rebecca? But I don't. Maybe just before we get into it, overall, before we get into the covers as well, what did you make of this last installment of this little group of stories?
I thought it was pretty good. I didn't get as excited about it. I don't know if that's because we've had so many of the others. I thought they were all good. I thought I was a bit worried about the first one from stuff I'd read on Twitter, and I was glad that my worries were put to one side. So I guess it's a really bland overall impression, but that I enjoyed them all. There was none that, like, where the art was I didn't like. I didn't think the use of red was very exciting throughout the entire issue, actually.
Yeah,
but it also had cats in, so
yes, and I remember we talked about that. I remember last time in the lead up in anticipation for this issue.
And I think like while we're also on the credits, kind of just about, I think it's one of the only comics I've seen in a long time that has the the suicide awareness warning.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it has if you're struggling with suicidal thoughts or worried about a friend, call this number or reach out to a counselor.
Okay. Wow.
So I thought that was quite interesting. So
yeah, for sure.
I mean, when I read it, I was like, "What am I about to read?"
Yeah.
And then because we've seen Mark go through the grinder before, but without them feeling they had to do this, and I'm guessing it's from the first story. So
yeah, and there's always, I mean, from the previous issues, I'm just running through the stories in my head. The David Baposa one, they can be quite heavy as well, but they had some sort of levity, I think, which was good. These ones, I mean, the first one at least, I really enjoyed the first one. I thought that was,
I really did as well.
Quite a little smart thing. I mean, we'll get into it, just how Cantwell kind of framed it, but similar to you, I don't know, maybe it's a loss of momentum or something. But when this issue came about, I was kind of like, yeah, cool, we got the last one, and it's because you can see the finish line, but it didn't wow me as much as I thought. But that's nothing to say, nothing against the stories. The stories are kind of solid still. It's just
it may be that we both had a hard week.
Maybe
it may be reflecting that we both had a hard week, because I think you can kind of tell, like I can see that they're good. I guess they just didn't grab my heart as much.
Yeah,
I appreciated them more than like when we read in the first one, we got the one with Spider-Man, and that was kind of like, it was something we haven't seen happen before. This all seemed like we haven't seen it, but it's all very feasible. So there was nothing really coming out of left field at me, and so I like it, but that might make it the most consistent of them as well.
Yeah, you've got a good point. I mean, the enthusiasm was there at the beginning, maybe because it was like, this is the first time we've kind of had an anthology as well with Moon Knight, and I was thinking perhaps it has run its course, and 4 issues is a good time to kind of wrap it up. And just looking back, looking forward, when we do get that Treasury edition, Rebecca, you're saying, I'm really looking forward to that as well, because to see them all together, it was just that. I know we've got these last 3 stories. It's the final issue. I don't know. I don't know if other loonies felt the same as well. Again, nothing against the stories, because I think they were all kind of solid. They were good. Maybe, if anything, I think the 2 stories, second and third stories, there was like a similar thing to it. I thought if they maybe, I don't know, with timing and when the writers do it.
I think it's that, and then kind of similar to the TV show as well.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot of the what if other people wanted Mark as their avatar, or,
I thought if they changed it up, if they exchanged it with another story from, say, issue 3 or whatever, just to give it a little bit more variety, variation, it would have maybe come off.
I know Opie said on Discord that the first story of this was his favorite for the entire series.
It was really cool. It was. I mean, so let's kind of like get into it. First thing, I'll put up the covers. So there are 2 covers here. First one, Rod Reyes.
These are like 2 of my favorite cover artists.
Yes.
So this was hard for me.
And we should say, Rebecca, a friend of the show, one of the
show.
He was kindly the first creator to provide us with a stinger for, I think, Damnation, when we did Damnation.
Yeah.
So thank you, Rod. And it is a beautiful cover. I love it as well.
It's gorgeous.
And the second one, a variant cover by Alexander Lozano.
Friend of me.
Really?
No. So, he did all the covers for an Iron Man, for the Tony Stark Iron Man run.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And we used to chat a lot about them, but then, because I was always saying how great they were, but then Robert Downey Jr. tweeted one of them, and
oh, wow.
Alexander didn't know, so I showed him, and then he was very excited. So, joking friend of mine, but we have interacted.
That's awesome. His art is fantastic, I've got to say. It's one of those. There's a whole slew of creators, artists, Rebecca, I think, and a fair few of them specialize in titles and covers. But they've got that kind of, you can generically say like an Alex Ross or a Mark Brooks. They're beyond just your kind of comic comic book house kind of style. It's really cool.
But I wouldn't necessarily have known this was Lozano. It's beautiful, but it's like it's quite different from any of the. I mean, apart from where the cape is, that was a bit. But yeah,
really?
the Iron Man ones were quite different, but it's gorgeous, and
yeah,
I love him. So it was quite hard for me to decide which ones to go. But I went with Reyes because I figured this one will be in the treasury. So.
Ah, yes. Yeah, they're both very good indeed. And also just got to say a little hello to someone from YouTube, Moon Knight. So hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hi. How you going? Hope you're enjoying the live stream. Anyway, Rebecca, I've got the comic book as well.
Yep.
We can flash that up there. So, I mean, if we go through... We have aspects here, Rebecca, and I literally just put 1 point each for each of the stories.
And I didn't really say much about any of them. I appreciate I was a bit of a slacker.
But no, I mean that's okay. It's good because I could ask, I guess now, like what stood out for you the most for Good Morning by Cantwell.
First of all, the paneling, like the first opener was so much like reminiscent of Watchmen for me. Obviously, it has too many panels because it's 16 panels.
Oh my God, it's a lot, isn't it? Yeah.
16 on the first page. But that just kind of very regimented and just looking like it's on looking like it's on the moon or Mars or whatever. But immediately you can tell what it is, even though it's obviously not noughts and crosses as we recognize it, because there's lots of crosses and they explain the game. And then where it bursts out of the paneling.
Yep.
I think it's really beautifully done. So I'm a big fan of Alex Lynn's now. Some of the white space on, was it page 3 for the cloak?
Beautiful. Oh, yes. Yes.
And then
nice.
Page 4, you get Randall breaking out. I mean, to be honest, the main thing, so I went into this quite worried because Christopher Cantwell said something like, he dedicated it to a friend of his that had died just before I think he wrote it. And I was a little bit worried that it would be very Moon Knight, that it would be very, because sometimes it's hard to sort of put, when you're trying to write something and then trying to fit it into what you have to write. But actually, I thought that worked quite well. I mean, very worried when we saw Cap, Spider-Man, and Wolverine, but then very happy he got to hit them. So I think, as Moon Knight Core said, this was very cathartic for many of us. I think I just fell in love with the art, and then the story I thought was very interesting. It reminded me of Ian Banks' Walking on Glass, if anyone's ever read that.
No.
One strand of it is somebody playing impossible games, like 3D invisible chess, and to try and escape from this where he is. And it felt very much like that. I don't know how it fit. Like I don't want to interrogate too closely if it fits into my view of Mark's mental health, because I've never really thought about that struggle for him. But I thought it was extremely well told and gorgeous and worked well enough, like that I believed it. My only downside on it is, honestly, like, I don't think it was particularly. I think it was very clear where the red was going to be used, but it wasn't exciting to me. Like, it wouldn't have mattered to me if this had all been in black and white.
Yeah, it didn't seem to. I mean, I did love that, and again, it's one of the, I guess, the obvious go-tos, the blood splattering, of course.
And I mean, and also the zero, but like it just, there wasn't much of it. And
yep, I totally agree. I whether it was red or just all black and white, I really didn't mind at all. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm just trying to think of if the red actually accentuated or helped.
Because I mean, you've got Spider-Man and Cap there. You would have thought you'd put a bit of red in there.
Yeah, it's also as well. It's just because I think what overshadows it is this desire from Cantwell and the artist to use this paneling, which is really kind of unorthodox for conventional comics, and I think it's a big statement to, like, okay, we're going to do this, and because I was immediately kind of attracted to that when I opened
Yeah,
the book.
I mean, I think it's
Wow,
absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I think the story is extremely well told.
Yeah, it's
And
like this
should
is
we say it
something
was very
different.
nice to see,
Yeah.
Stephen, Mark, and Jake out with his moustache, and Marlene as
Yes. Oh,
well. The
yeah.
nice big khonshu.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, but I think that maybe overshadowed the highlights that the red
Yeah.
may have given to the story. But similar to you, Rebecca, I think, yeah, I mean, if you put aside what you believe Mark's mental health and how he kind of deals with it, I think this is just a really kind of cool, clever story. I mean, there being crosses everywhere, and that all means death, and he literally has to traverse some crosses and conflict.
And there are
to
obviously
reach.
some interesting things because we know he
Yeah.
has died and resurrected.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's kind of like it is an interesting thing to do with that. Like he's died and resurrected, and then, but that So it's just, and he has mental health issues, and PTSD almost certainly. So quite aside from DID, and it's not unimaginable, and it's nice to see Tika at the end.
Oh, that really put a smile on my face because I did a double take. I saw the pointy ears in
You're
the
a proper shipper, that's why.
Yeah.
I think we all are now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oops, I've gone too far. Let me have a look. Yeah, there. She's got the pointy ears, and I thought, oh yeah, and then the tail at the end's like, oh yeah, that's great. Love it. So yeah, that was really good, and just again going back to. It's not breaking new ground about seeing Bushman again and Randall, but idea that
it's always nice to see them, isn't it? It is a greatest hits, which I liked.
Yeah, and the art was really good.
I love the art. I love the paneling. It's so clever.
Well, one of the strengths of this final issue,
lettering
Rebecca,
very good as well. We should say,
lettering is great as well. I just think the variety of the artwork in all three stories was just fantastic because I loved each and every one of them.
That was almost like the bigger selling point. Really, was the art was so good.
Yeah, and so I really dug this first story. I thought it was really cool. Again, there's only so much you can do with an 8-page thing. So the concept and the story itself is very, very simple and very straightforward. You don't want to pack it in with too much. But I think the art drove it along, and I think just this innovation with the layouts to the artwork as well. So it was pretty cool indeed. What else did I hang on? Let me just have a look here. Just a simple message. So from here, the theme I got from here was basically even when you yourself are questioning yourself and are down and not wanting to get motivated and do stuff, this is Mark showing that he pushes through, basically, I think, and just never gives up. So he says that towards the end there with the final... maybe this part of me seeks relief in defeat, maybe fight so hard because it wants me. I can't read it because I've got something in front of it, but yeah. But yeah, I think it's...
maybe it fights hard because it wants me to stop playing. If I stop playing, I'm left on an X.
Yeah.
I'm always exhausted by the end. I usually win just before the moon disappears.
And he does this, and again, this talk of when the moon rises, it starts, when it disappears, it ends.
Yeah.
So it's a recurring thing. He does this constantly.
Yeah.
So it is a bit of a grind in that regards, but
I mean, it sounds like a horrific recurring nightmare.
But it just shows how much he endures, and again, I do like that little ending with Tigra. Just it gives him a little sense of relief for a brief moment when he wakes up. And he ends it with what was it? It's like it seems easy, but it's was it? But that's like I said, the game is simple, but that doesn't mean it's easy. So yeah, really cool. If we go to the next story, then Rebecca. Now, I was unfamiliar with Nadia Shammas and Dante Bastianoni. Had you come across them before?
I've read some of hers before, but I don't know what.
Okay.
Off the top of my head, but I follow her on Twitter, so.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I thought this story was actually it was quite good. It was different from the first one, so that is nice.
Yeah.
And I didn't mind it at this stage when we do come across a Shesmu. And I mean, we've seen the Colts before in the previous issue for something else. I thought it was interesting that Mark gets the oils and I guess the aromas and the blood and stuff are splattered on the altar, which intrinsically links him to Shesmu and gets Shesmu to really kind of want him. So that was cool because he starts kind of going and questioning himself with different things. So the art is really cool here. I mean, I like if you
like
look at
the drugged up where they all go swirly.
Yeah. But even the close-ups of Mark, I love the ink work. It's just really solid.
And I like he uses oranges and reds. And...
Yeah, that's a bit of a point of difference, I guess, with the reds.
Yeah.
But yeah, him kind of succumbing to this kind of looks like a gaseous kind of anointment. It's like so he just is wondering what the hell is going on. He's wondering if it's
Wait
Khonshu.
a second. I've just spotted there's a Mark in boxer shorts.
Oh, hang on.
Mark's
is it on
in
this
boxer
panel?
Shorts in this issue. I may have to give it an extra point.
Oh, there you go. Oh, yes. What, on his knees, hands and knees?
Next page as well.
Oh, next page.
When he's washing. Yeah, no, that page. Sorry, the one you were on before.
Oh, yeah.
When he's like mopping up the blood. Nice.
Nice.
Check
out those guns. So, yeah, that's great. Yeah, absolutely. Even I know this is such a small thing, but I just want to call it out. Even when he's looking at himself in the mirror, you know how the reflection is different.
It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just a mirror image of it. It's kind of fainted and it's just drawn different. I love it. So this art for me, I mean, I loved all of the art, but this stood out for me the most.
The style, is not my favorite, but it's so incredibly well done.
Yeah.
You know, and I love some of the touches, like that we've been discussing. So yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, a little bit more, I think, playful use of the reds here. So we get almost like
other people get red clothes is nice.
Yeah, and of course the blood motif is always there. But we get when Mark is kind of going a bit, he's hallucinating. He gets like a blood night, which he kind of looks up into the sky, which I think was really cool because, as you said, Rebecca, you get the swirly, whirly buildings. So yeah, it was a nice contrast with some of the artwork there. I thought speaking of art, I thought the lion head of Shesmu was spot on because, again, I'm not an artist, but I think drawing animals would be really hard. So he got that right on point there. What did you think of the turning point here, Rebecca, of the whole crux of the thing? I guess how Mark turns away Shesmu.
It didn't totally sell it on me, but it was fine. Yeah.
Yeah, it was something different. I mean, so Mark basically goes, look, you think anyone can just use me as an avatar? You think I haven't been fighting against Khonshu or whatever to claim my body? And so he kind of self-harms himself. And Shesmu goes, what are you doing? I was only kind of half sold on that myself too. I can see what Shammas is trying to do, but it just, I mean, does that happen then when Mark goes up against any deity or is this because he's kind of been infused with I mean, Shesmu says, I'm inside you now, so maybe he's been infused with Shesmu. They're kind of like symbiotic or something, but it was
I found it a little bit weird.
But I guess the takeaway, the theme for this would have been, I've got like here in my notes, acceptance of mutually assured destruction. Because he does say himself, mutually assured.
I guess we've seen that kind of motif of Mark not being afraid to shed blood. This is just a little bit more in your face, literally.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Now we've had maybe this is the one that had the suicide warning.
Yeah. I mean, because this seemed like that was the kernel of this story. But okay, we know Mark is not reckless, but he's kind of he'd take a punch, then defend himself, that sort of stuff. He doesn't mind it. So it seems that that's where this story generated from. I like the Shesmu. I wonder if I'm not sure if you know Rebecca Shesmu's deity, like
I
from where
haven't
or. But it'd be interesting to kind of look now and see. I'd be slightly disappointed if it was just fictitious. Not that really matters, but it would have been cool if it tied into something.
Ancient demon god of the underworld, Egyptian.
Oh, okay.
Slaughtering demon, god of precious oils for beauty and embalming, and a god of the wine press.
Oh, so hence the oils and stuff. Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool.
I think Nadia is Middle Eastern origin. So
yeah. Really, again, I mean, I've got this listeners.
It's like every Egyptian god is after Mark if you believe this issue.
Oh yeah, and that's what I mean. So I didn't mind it too much here, but when we get to the third story, and again, nothing against it because it's just the order that they put it in. It's kind of like, again, like So again, last page, that shot of Mark, I think is brilliant, and I love the splash of blood at the end.
Yeah,
kind of really gives him a very kind of menacing look, the way he threatens those cult followers. But yeah, no, really, really good there. Any other thoughts on this one?
That's Rebecca? The one.
Yeah. And then finally, we've got, again, such a shift in tone. But again, as we mentioned, it's kind of similar in the story.
Theme. Yeah.
Yeah, and theme. But I did like this as well. There was...
the art's great.
Yeah, black, white, and blood, and a whole lot of grey. I think this. But I love the use of the negative space in this. Yeah. You see it in Mark's pajamas, bed sheets. You see it in the reflection of the cat, that sort of thing. Yeah. So, yeah, I think this story suffered, as I said, because it followed the previous one, and they just had very similar themes. Again, as I said, once that Treasury edition comes, I don't think I would care as much anymore because it's all collected.
Yeah, and you can also flip through and read the stories in whatever order you want. And so,
exactly.
But yeah, we get Jake with his moustache back.
Yeah, but I mean, this story on its
own moustache.
With a few little hairs on the chin there. Yeah. But on its own merits, this story, what did you make of it? Did you think, was it well told, pacing?
To be honest, I thought bits of it were a little bit confusing. But then it came together. I think I was just like, oh, it's another Egyptian god wants Mark. Like, what is so special about him that they all want him? Like, I want to know why they all want Khonshu's avatar. Like, are there no other worthy people here? So but I really love the art, and I think the story's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I guess a slight point of difference here. I took it as Bastet kept on saying that I am the cure. I thought that they wanted to rub out like Mark and Khonshu, but I mean it's still just the date. The fact that they're both deities, Shesmu and Bastet. I thought that was a similarity, but I agree. I was a little bit confused. Like I kept on wondering after I read it. So who was this guy in the cab? It was just a random guy that seemed to know Mark. He must have been maybe a cult follower of Bastet, but it's not really linked.
Then they turned into Bastet. It was a little bit unclear, but in that kind of dream-like comics way.
Mm-hmm. Now this page I thought was awesome. Like you can look at
beautiful.
See how playful the art is, and I don't want to muck up the name. Azaceta, just really, really good stuff, I think. Even to the point of the way they're all horizontal panels, and again, our listeners, we're just looking at, I think, page 2 or 3. But him just going, it flips, right? So you got Mark looking, to your left, and then it goes to his right, and then it just, his eye line is all...
It gives that definite sense of movement through the flats.
Absolutely. And just the text, the fabrics have patterns on them, so that actually gives it a bit more depth. Yeah, so really good art here, but we get Mark a little bit erred by a cat. I'm sure, Rebecca, you know how that feels.
I do. I'm watching him right now. I'm waiting for him to come join us for the cat issue, but he's not playing ball.
Yeah. And it's interesting, and it makes sense, logical, to have a red cat. The use of red, I think, here, so it just really highlights.
Yes, I mean, if you want to distinguish which the cat is, but I think it's not a color you associate with Bast.
True.
So, but it does make it stand out, so it works within that.
Yeah.
But I think that was why it was a little bit weird for me. But
yeah, I thought exactly the same. That it's not a cat, but I can see what they're using it for. But yeah, so it was kind of like half-half.
Like the next page, I think the red's used so perfectly. No, I mean, if you see, because he's trying to decide where to go, and he's following that, and he sees the red light.
Oh, right, yeah, very
that's how he knows
cool.
where to go, and it's really kind of nice little. It's tiny touch. I get why you're laughing because it's barely there.
It's
but
there,
it's you know, it's how he knows where to go.
That's really cool. Yeah. If anything, I thought the transition from from the previous page to this was a little weird. Yeah, it was a bit sharp. I mean,
I'm in my pajamas now. I'm outside as Moon Knight.
Yeah, and he was dozing off, just hunched next to a gargoyle on a building, and he kind of woke up.
Being attacked by cats and then up on the building.
But I mean, again, maybe that is the intent. But again, the art I think really shines here. Again, the steam or the smoke from the rooftops as Moon Knight kind of drifts towards this place. Now, it does get a little shocking here, I thought, Rebecca. I mean, it kind of turns with basically a woman giving birth to a cat. So anyway, we go through, again, lusciously drawn. It's thieves live here, so Mark enters this premise. I didn't, if we are to be critical again, I didn't get what that sound effect was. I thought it was an alarm or something at first.
I didn't know what it was. Yeah, I thought. I mean, but I don't know how you'd be able to know.
No, so it's meant to be is it meant to be the woman making the noises? Yeah. But that was not immediately apparent at all. So I think, unfortunately, that sound effect really didn't work. But again, similar to, as you said, Rebecca, in this last panel, he gets a sliver of red, I guess, through a cracked door. So pretty cool use of red, I think.
Yeah.
Same intent. And then we get, again, this weirdo cult, Bastet. So they want to bring Bastet into the world. There's a woman there giving birth, and she does. And the cat is red, and her shriek is red as well. And then it's really quick here. Again, I think the brevity of the storytelling. Yeah. There's nothing you can do, but Bastet grows, or Bast. I'm just going to call it Bast because it grows and grows, and it's quite ominous. And it's a very quick kind of fight, and Moon Knight quite easily, I think, disposes of Bast, which a little bit disappointing. It would have been built up. To me, it seemed like it was built up, and if it actually reached something a lot more visceral.
But then I like that. So the next page, when he's telling them all that they've perverted the name of Bastet, so maybe that's not really full powerful Bastet. That's some sort of perversion in her name.
True. Yeah. But God, tongue hanging out. Moon Knight just grabbing an ear.
Yeah, his dagger's fully red.
Fully red as well. So it kind of wraps up kind of quickly by that. But there are a few moments of, I think, genuine intrigue. I think, him seeing not only that cult, but the woman giving birth. That was a real shock for me.
And then he has a cat, which makes everything better. So I hope. I know he won't keep the cat, but in my world, he has a cat somewhere.
I love it. It's enjoying the sea captain's feast, like the fan. And it's a little bit of actually there is a little bit of comedy here as well. And maybe now I can finally get some rest. And I love it ends on just meow, which kind of started the whole thing, right? If we go back, Mark can't sleep because there's this cat that that keeps on bugging him. So don't know why it's gone back 27. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway,
quite long. That's quite long when you scroll back like that.
But no, that's a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, going through it now, it does seem a lot more kind of enjoyable. But having read it, and I read it twice just in prep for the show as well. The second reading was a little bit better as well. But yeah, I think just the mix, the compilation, Rebecca, is what kind of...
it wasn't that's, we blame the editors for that. That's not any of the writers or artists. Well, I mean, who else is it, Exactly. So, I mean, with that, shall we give this a rating from Conishue's rating system? Yep. I think we both gave it the same. So.
Yeah. So we both gave it a solid round boy. Rebecca, 7 out of 10, which I think was I was kind of erring between
maybe
6
like
and a half.
7.5. I think maybe 7.5 for me. So it's still the average is at 7. Yeah.
I think the art really does elevate this as well. I first was thinking 6.5, but looking at the art again and going through it,
I
it's
think,
like,
and
man,
also
this
I have
is so
to give it
cool.
that nudge it up for having cats.
And boxer shorts.
And boxer shorts. Maybe, boxer shorts. Very good. Thank you, Nadia.
Thank you, Nadia. So, listen.
Whoever did the art on that one.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know if she specified the Moon Knight, so I should thank Dante Bastianoni. Bastianoni. Thank you to him.
Fantastic. I've got to look up again where these artists will do
I
their
definitely
other
want
works,
to keep an eye on all the artists.
Oh my gosh. Should I'll reach out, see if we can get one on the show. But listeners, there you have it. I think it's it would be interested to hear what you all think as well. And we do have let me shine this up now. Let me take that off. We do have a quotation mark. Looney feedback segment. We've only got one, although, Rebecca, if you don't mind, I'm just going to quickly check if there have been any others dropped. But while I do that, would you mind reading Mario's one?
Not at all. So this is from Mario. He says, honestly, I was a bit disappointed by the issue. While the stories were technically sound, all three leaned too heavily on the symbolism, often to the detriment of character. And did we really need 2 stories where other gods tried to recruit Mark as their avatar? 3/4 of Moon for me.
That's still very good. That's like 7.5, isn't it?
I mean, that's what we gave it, like more or less.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
I think you can be disappointed. I mean, I think, like you said, the art's still very good, and there's a lot of really good stuff there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I can feel your disappointment, Mario, as well. I wasn't too caught up on the symbolism being like too overused or whatever. But totally, I agree with you. The stories were technically sound. And 2 stories of other gods. I think that's it's a bit of a fault there. Oh, I forgot that there. Yes, no other ones there from Facebook or I haven't checked Twitter, but I don't think we get that much there. So no, thank you, Mario, and listeners. This is not the end. If you want to discuss this more, we do have the posts up on our social media platforms. Go check it out, and let's get the discussion going. It's it's a little bit quiet now on the Western Front. I know the loonies
we're all a little bit.
Yeah,
everyone's a bit in holiday mode. That's fine.
That's true. But I know there are plenty of loonies out there. Would love to hear from you. So drop a line if you can. Well, Rebecca, I think that pretty much wraps us.
I know, right? Not bad.
It's pretty well done. So thank you so much as always as well. It's always good to see you, Rebecca. Always good to see your Hawkeye T-shirt.
Yeah. It's all good.
How is it? Is it? I can see the fan in the back. Is it still blisteringly hot?
No. We started in fully getting started into autumn now. It's just pleasant.
Oh, fantastic,
So,
fantastic. Anything you'd like to share or plug that is coming out soon for you?
I'm doing an Immortal Iron Fist Sons of the Dragon tomorrow.
Nice.
So for the last issue of the new Iron Fist.
Yes.
So that should be fun.
Is that the last issue? Already? Gosh. Okay. Yeah, I do have it on my pile. I just.
I mean, he's going to be in an Axe tie-in, but it's the last actual issue.
Lin Lai or Danny?
Lin Lai.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. I mean, Wednesdays are generally Fridays for me, because the shipments come in a bit late. But
it's like usually Friday or Saturdays for me, but it depends.
Okay.
Like last time it was very fast. So.
Okay. Well, I mean, listeners, you won't be without Rebecca for too long as well, apart from, of course, the Sons of the Dragon, Immortal Iron Fist. Next week, for episode 301, we have Moon Knight. We've got issue 15 by Jed MacKay and Alessandro Cappuccio. Get yours in quickly. Rebecca and I will do a discussion on that. It should be good. I mean, following up on the issue 14, Rebecca, which was... a pretty big, I don't know what you call it, milestone, or a very massive issue.
It was a big issue.
Yeah, that a lot of people loved. So looking forward to that, as always. And a big thank you again once again to our patronies, Odin, Daniel, Drew, Frank, Justin, Derek, Wayne, Jordan, Josh, Anthony, Russell, Michael, Mario, Matthew, and Jonathan. Please consider becoming a member on patreon.com/RTK Moon Knight. You can catch Odin Sword on Drinking Marvel podcast. I'm not sure if they've had an episode recently, Odin. Hopefully you do. Frank, the Think Tank, he's on Instagram, Moon Knight Visions with a Z. Fringe Knight by Daniel, doing an original indie comic based on Erie, Pennsylvania's very own mysterious superhero. Go support him on patreon.com/Fringe Knight 27. We've also got Drew Toombs as well. Oh, thank you, Daniel.
Yeah.
Daniel dropping, thank you, my good sir. Always good to hear from you. We also have Drew Toombs as well. Support him on soundcloud.com/Toombs or Lurk Music. And that's Lurk Music with a ck.bandcamp.com. CLZ Comics at collectors.com and Dreamland Comics. If you use Moon, you can get 20% off their online store. Hopefully they're still up and running, Rebecca. I don't know. Are they just that might just be a facade. I don't know. I hope they're still running.
Can't say that.
So I'll have to check. I'll have to check. As always as well, we are part of the collective. So wonderful shows that Rebecca is part of. Rebecca, you mentioned Sons of the Dragon and Immortal Iron Fist podcast. Also DCAU, the DC Animated Universe podcast as well. Very cool. Go check it out. And finally, you can drop us a line on feedback at ITK Moon Knight. We've got a website. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Discord, Get Vocal, and all that pizzazz. And again, I've forgotten for the video people, that is where you can find us. Sorry, there you go. I've just mentioned it, but you can have a look at it there, or you can just look at the show notes as well. A big thank you to all our patronies as well. I keep on forgetting to add this, Rebecca, so there it is.
No, it's great. I love that you did it. It's so organised.
Try to be. Well, with that, thank you once again, Rebecca.
Thank you.
And as always, may country watch over the denizens of the night. Catch you later, everyone.
Moon Knight and affiliated characters, stories and events are properties of Marvel Characters Incorporated. Materials used and discussed within the podcast are intended for critique and review purposes only under the fair dealing concept of the current Copyright Act. The views, information, or opinions expressed during the podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the copyright owners.
From the time of his hatching, he was different. A potentially brilliant scholar who dreaded the structured environment of school. He educated himself in the streets, taking whatever work was available, formulating his philosophy of self from what he had learned of the world about him. And then the cosmic axis shifted, and that world changed. Suddenly, he was stranded in a universe he could not fathom. Without warning, he became a strange fowl in an even stranger land.
Welcome to the one, and for some reason only, podcast about Marvel Comics' greatest talking duck, Howard the Duck, trapped in a world he never made. Hosted by myself, Noel, who's loved Howard since he was a kid.
And me, Russell, who's not new to comics, but is new to Howard. We go through a couple issues from Howard's Marvel comic book history with some creator backgrounds, storied histories, and the weird world of 1970s comic books to today's. Get ducked up in a world he never made.
Trapped in a World, the Howard the Duck podcast.
Wow!
Proud members of the collective.